A wealthy, arrogant judge in a small Texas courtroom laughs at an elderly black woman who can barely afford her lawyer. He thinks she's just another easy case to dismiss. The courtroom in Dallas, Texas, is packed, but all eyes are on Judge Richard Collins, a man known for his sharp tongue and even sharper bias against those he deems beneath him. Today, he's presiding over a case that seems straightforward to him. An elderly black woman, Mrs. Evelyn Carter, is fighting to save her family home from being taken by a powerful real estate company. The company claims she defaulted on a loan, but Evelyn insists the paperwork is fraudulent. The problem? Evelyn can't afford a high-powered lawyer. Her attorney, a young public defender named Mark, is doing his best, but Judge Collins isn't impressed. He cuts Mark off mid-sentence, rolls his eyes, and even chuckles when Evelyn tries to speak up. "Mom," he says with a smirk, "this isn't a place for emotional pleas. It's about the law." The real estate company's lawyers, dressed in expensive suits, exchange knowing glances. They've seen this before: a poor defendant with no resources, no chance of winning. They're confident the judge will rule in their favor, just like he always does. But Evelyn isn't backing down. She knows the system is stacked against her, but she also knows something the judge and the lawyers don't. She spent years working as a legal secretary, quietly studying law books and court procedures. She's not just fighting for her home, she's fighting for her dignity. The challenge is clear. How can Evelyn, a 72-year-old woman with no formal legal training and no money, stand up to a judge who's already decided she's lost? The odds are against her, but Evelyn has one thing they don't expect: a deep understanding of the law and the determination to use it. The courtroom is about to learn that underestimating her is the biggest mistake they could make. The tension in the courtroom is palpable as Evelyn stands up, her voice steady but firm. "Your Honor," she begins, "I'd like to represent myself from this point forward." The judge raises an eyebrow, clearly amused. "Mom, do you even know what you're doing?" he asks, his tone dripping with condescension. The lawyers for the real estate company exchange smirks, already celebrating what they think is an easy win. But Evelyn doesn't flinch. She opens a worn leather folder filled with neatly organized documents and starts laying out her case. She cites a little-known Texas property law that requires lenders to provide clear proof of default before seizing a home. The real estate company's lawyers shift uncomfortably in their seats as she points out inconsistencies in their paperwork. Judge Collins, still skeptical, interrupts her. "Mrs. Carter, this isn't a game. You can't just throw around legal jargon and expect to win." But Evelyn isn't rattled. She calmly responds, "Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to reference case law from the Texas Supreme Court that supports my argument." She pulls out a printed case file and reads directly from it, her voice growing stronger with every word. The courtroom falls silent as Evelyn continues. She points out that the real estate company failed to provide proper notice before attempting to seize her home, a violation of state law. She even highlights a procedural error in how the case was filed, something her public defender had missed. The judge's smirk fades as he realizes Evelyn isn't just repeating what she's heard. She knows the law inside and out. The real estate lawyers, now visibly nervous, try to object, but Evelyn counters every argument with precision. She's not just defending her home, she's exposing the flaws in a system that often favors the powerful. The courtroom, once dismissive, is now hanging on her every word. The challenge Evelyn faced seemed insurmountable, but her quiet confidence and deep knowledge of the law are turning the tide. The judge, the lawyers, and everyone watching are about to learn that underestimating her was their first and biggest mistake. The courtroom is dead silent as Evelyn steps forward, holding a single sheet of paper. "Your Honor," she says, her voice calm but commanding, "I'd like to submit this document into evidence." The judge, now visibly irritated, snaps, "What is it now, Mrs. Carter?" Evelyn doesn't blink. This is a copy of the original loan agreement between me and the real estate company. Buried in the fine print is a clause that states any dispute over the property must go through mediation before legal action can be taken. They skipped that step entirely. The real estate lawyers jumped to their feet, objecting loudly. Your Honor, this is irrelevant. She's just trying to delay the inevitable. But Evelyn isn't finished. She turns to the judge and says, Your Honor, if I may, this isn't just about procedure. It's about the law. And the law is clear. Judge Collins, now leaning forward in his seat, takes the document and reads it carefully. His face tightens as he realizes Evelyn is right. The clause is undeniable, and the company's failure to follow it is a glaring violation. The lawyers, sensing the shift, start stammering, trying to downplay the significance of the clause. But Evelyn isn't done. She pulls out another document, a notarized letter from the mediator who was supposed to handle the dispute. This proves they never even attempted mediation, she says, her voice steady. They rushed straight to court, hoping I would notice. I did. The judge slams his gavel, silencing the room. Enough, he says, his tone sharp. He looks at the real estate lawyers, then at Evelyn. Mrs. Carter, you've made a compelling case. The court finds in your favor. The seizure of your home is hereby invalidated. The courtroom erupts in gasps and murmurs. The real estate lawyers are stunned, their confident smirks replaced with disbelief. Evelyn, still standing tall, simply nods and says, Thank you, Your Honor. In that moment, the arrogant judge, the powerful lawyers, and everyone watching realize they underestimated Evelyn. She didn't just win her case, she exposed the flaws in a system designed to crush people like her. And she did it with nothing but her intelligence, determination, and an unshakable belief in justice.